Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you a new experimental build that I've come up with. It's more or less a enhanced version of a really old build, but just with different armor since, you know, Fatalis is here, and way better skill opportunities, and it's just better overall. Basically the focus of this build is to get as much element as possible. This is a complete elemental with the highest element possible, at least in this build, for switch axe, zero sum, discharge spamming. But please note that this is experimental. It isn't meant to be the best thing around. It is not meant to be meta. It's just me slapping together some fairly unused things with this specific weapon type, and I guess in this case file type, and seeing how well it does. Now, despite that being the case, this actually competes very, very heavily with the highest damaging Fatalis zero sum discharge spamming builds, which is pretty insane. So, getting into this, just getting into the build, then we'll get into the actual nitty-gritty of the weapon and the element and the stats. I just want to cover the build first, since that will be the fastest part. So, augmentations, we've got health and element, since obviously health keeps us alive, element gives us more element, which is the focus of the build. So that's done. We are using the Alatreon switch axe because it has really high dragon, great sharpness, good raw, and good slots. So it was a no-brainer move. Safi doesn't come anywhere close to this. I was thinking about using the Kya one, since it is very good. It's just, I feel like Alatreon does better in the long run. I know crit element is a massive part. Maybe I'll do another one of these with the Kya one, the Kya switch axe, and just see how it goes. But I think Alatreon kind of takes it for element, since it's going to be wildly higher. And it should technically outdamage crit element, so we'll see, yeah, here's the build. Agitator 7 actually gets us 100% crit. You can see I have 10% crit here, and then when I get out the weapon, I have 30%, so then obviously Agitator 7 will get 100%, because it will go to 50, and then obviously we have Weakness Exploit, which is 100%. We have Dragon Attack, since we are using a Dragon Switch Axe, so we want as much of that as possible. We have Tool Specialist 5 now. With the old versions of this, if you went 2-piece Alatreon, 3-piece Safi, or you went 5-piece Safi, there was no way of getting Tool Specialist 5 in here, especially with an Alatreon Switch Axe, because you would need 3-piece Safi, then 2-piece Lunastra, plus a Safi weapon with Lunastra Essence. So yeah, it just wasn't possible, but now it is, which is perfect for zero-sum discharge spamming. So that's really nice. I should mention we are using 3-piece Safi, 2-piece Fatalis, so that is possible now. That should have been kind of a no-brainer thing, you know, seeing Tool Specialist 5 there. Obviously, you know what I've got, but yeah, I guess I probably should have said something earlier. Anyway, health boost 3 we have to have in here because we want to stay alive longer, and we don't have Transcendence. Crit boost for more crit damage, 40% crit damage. Weakness Exploit, obviously for 100% crit. When we tenderize, Power Prolonger, so that we can stay powered up longer and sit on the side of a monster and zero sum more. Coalescence 3, we have this because with all of this element together that I will show soon, we get 1510 element, which means if I get Coalescence 3, that will go to 1600 element, which is insane, because even without a hunting horn buff that could increase that even further if you have a buddy with you, 1600 element solo is really, really high. Technically you could try and get higher with 5-piece Safi, but you lose so many skills, it is not worth it. I don't even think you can get higher, because you'd lose way too many important skills for it to even work. So I guess ignore that. We have 2 crit eye here because it comes with the gear, and that is enough to get us 100% crit with everything that I mentioned earlier. Earplugs, so we get earplugs 5, we're on the side of a monster, perfect. Blight resistance comes with the gear, but I did decide to put another one in both of the mantles, which we will be wearing for most of the hunt. And that's just to get Coalescence easier, since Coalescence is a massive part of the build. Evade Window comes with the gear, that's just a nice little thing to have. And then I have one Divine here because I didn't know what else to put in here. And Divine doesn't work in Temporal, so I just stuck Attack. I mean, 3 attack is better than 0, so, you know. You could put Recov Up in here if you wanted to. That's a viable option. I mean, you could pretty much put whatever you want in here that works. It's just, I decided to put Attack because Protection does not work on Temporal since you don't take any damage. So there's no point reducing damage taken when you're not taking any anyway. So that's the build. Now let's get into the good stuff. So, as you can see, when I get out my actual like sword, we have 1510, which is really, really good element. And we have still great attack, you know, we have good stats, despite not having much of attack in here. So, now comes the good part. Damage. Let's get powered up. Now, against an untenderized and completely unbuffed wagon, like I'm not buffed in any way, the wagon's not tenderized. This is how much damage we do with everything that we have on so far. 1772 with obviously crit RNG involved there. And now I'm going to show you a tenderized wagon, and then I'm going to remain unbuffed, obviously. Let's just wait for the total damage to disappear. Okay, there we go. I should do a little over 2k now. Okay, well, I got close. 1900. Not bad. Obviously, we have crit RNG that would be higher if I had 100% crit, which isn't possible right now because Agitator can't be activated. So, I'll be right back. I'm just going to go get a food buff because I wanted to do an unfood buff version of damage here just to keep things fairly accurate. So I'm going to go do that real quick, and then we'll be right back with a full buffed, tenderized wagon damage test, and I should be competing pretty closely with Fatalis without Coalescence, without Agitator, and without that one attack boost right there, and obviously without Hunting Horn buffs, Choral Orchestra, you know, whatever. So yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back now, and as you can see, I have food buff for attack. So, let's buff up with the items. The wagon is tenderized. I do have Zero Sum ready. Let's see how much damage we get with this. Now, bearing in mind, this is without the 20% crit, so we're actually at 80% crit when I do this. So, numbers won't be completely accurate, unfortunately. 2,000. That's not bad. Now, if every single one of those was a crit, that would be a lot better. And obviously, if I had Coalescence and actual Agitator damage buff going, it'd be even better. 2,200 there. I got a whole 200 more, just because of more crits. So let's put that attack on as well. Just because, why not? Makes it a bit fairer. Let's see what else we get here. Less damage there. Obviously, it's because I don't have 100% crit, which is very unfortunate. But 2,200 was the peak, without Coalescence, free, by the way, which is, what, 18 attack? I think 18 attack. Then we get more damage from the 90, or the extra 90 element. Then we also have Agitator, which would give us a whole 28 more attack. And then you'd have Booster, Choral Orchestra, a potential Hunting Horn buffer, you know, which would give you attack and element, potentially. I don't know if there's a song list for that. Probably not, but if you had 2 Hunting Horn users with you, then that would be possible. So yeah, this just goes to show how strong this build is in comparison to a lot of others. The fact that it was very, very difficult to even get 2,000 attack per Zero Sum before, or at least when Alatreon was, you know, meta for this kind of thing, just goes to show how good this is. Now we have Fatalis armor, and we can slot in the rest of the goods that we need. So, of course, as always, I'm going to show a hunt at the end of this, just to show you really what this thing can do in a more practical manner, with 100% crit, and all of the things I said above, minus Hunting Horn, since, you know, we're lonely out here in the monster hunting world. So, anyway, if you want to stick around for that, go ahead. If not, that's where the video ends for you. Thanks for watching, and adios. Also, I do actually want to mention, let me know what you think of the build, and let me know if it can be improved in any way. I'm sure there are improvements for this. It's pretty stacked as much as I possibly can, really. There's not really much else I can add to this to really improve the core focus of the build. But yeah, let me know what you think, and let me know if it can be improved in any major way to make it either gain way more element, or still have the same element and gain more attack, or whatever. But yeah, anyway, enjoy the hunt, and adios once again.